Well, hello. My name is Cassandra Junifont, and I've lived with seasonal depression for many years. Every fall, right around this time of year, I would go into hermit mode. I don't know. There was something that made me feel like I just needed to go into hiding. I wasn't my normally ambitious, motivated self. I was more tired and low on energy. And I swear to God, I felt like I was watching darkness like coming for me. And while everyone else was all excited to dress up for Halloween and making plans for the holidays, I just couldn't match that energy. And I really thought there was something wrong with me. And so to cope with everything, I drank. From Halloween to like Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, it was all a blur. I would drink a lot, like enough to take the edge off, but not enough to completely lose control. And I don't know, like the fog would start to lift around February, but if I'm being honest, I was living in a high functioning depression until about spring, until about March. And I silently resented all of the happy people who weren't dealing with all of these hard emotions that I was dealing with. Then fast forward to 2020, and I learned about seasonal affective disorder, SAD. It was during an interview on my old podcast, The Other 23 Hours, where I was interviewing a therapist, and she mentioned the term. And I was like, wait, what? Like, this isn't personal. There's a name for this. And that felt so relieving at the time for a while. And then a year or so after that, I learned about something else that completely changed the game. I learned about the seasons. Yeah, like the actual seasons. And that might, I don't know, sound silly or simple, but it literally rocked my world because I learned that there's nothing wrong with me. Like during fall, everything is slowing down. If you look, the trees are losing their leaves, the sun is setting earlier, and nature is slowing down. And so was I. And understanding that brought so much freedom and so much validation, and then a lot of anger. I was like, why aren't we being taught this? Why am I being labeled as disordered when my biology is doing exactly what it's supposed to do? It's doing exactly what nature does. And so I realized that I was never broken. I was just misinformed. And so, since giving myself permission to be human, I no longer suffer from seasonal depression. It's very different for me now. And so, all of that is to say, it's not that SAD, seasonal affective disorder, isn't real, or that your experience, if you experience this, it's not saying that your experience isn't valid because it is. And before accepting this massive diagnosis, I encourage you to gather more information. Study not just Western medicine and what all these Western doctors and scientists tell us, but other natural rhythms and remedies. And the goal isn't to find a way to cure yourself or anything like that. The goal is to simply learn about you and your body and how it all works. And sometimes I have found that just learning about ourselves can be healing. And so, because of that, I created this guide with very simple, often overlooked tools for us to use to navigate through seasonal depression because healing isn't always complex. Sometimes it's so simple, it seems ridiculous, which is exactly why we're not taught it because it's not very profitable. So, from my heart to yours, and in collaboration with Jocelyn Zambrana, a licensed clinical social worker, we offer this guide for every human heart that just wants to feel like themselves again. So, I almost forgot. The guide is called Meds Plus Water for SAD. So, MEDS is an acronym. It stands for meditation, exercise, diet, and sleep plus water because we take our meds with water, but hydration is mood regulation. for SAD, seasonal affective disorder. It is a completely free resource available on my website, oriara.com, ORIARA.com. And again, this is made with so much love from my heart to yours.